Now, here to discuss reparations, slavery, social justice, our black roots, and his international humanitarian work that he's doing is my homie Akon. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, what's going on, big time?
I'm loving the background. Are you at a pool party or the airport? Where you at, Akon?
I'm actually about to head to the airport, man.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us where you're heading to by any chance?
I'm actually heading to Atlanta.
Man,
Oh, there we go.
LA to ATL all the time.
Hey, yeah.
Love what you're doing, man. So I got to ask you, what are your thoughts about reparations and what are your thoughts about companies that profited from slavery paying reparations by helping rebuild black communities? What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a start. You know, you got to respect those companies that's at least acknowledging. Ultimately, I do always felt like that was a role that the government should be able to want to take lead on. Because ultimately all the laws was always built around, slaves and keeping them, under that control for slave owners. And I think when you get to the level of that, it's to the point now, okay, the government has to acknowledge it because the reparation is not something that a Fortune 500 company alone can actually deliver. This is something that has to be a conjunction, a partnership with all things made, built from African Americans and others that was here to help build America to what it is today. But I think as far as African Americans, we've been the least concentrated on when it came to reparations. And I don't think enough energy has been put into it. I think we deserve more.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Akon, you recently caught some heat from a recent interview when you said Black Americans would benefit by simply letting go of slavery. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I meant by that was I just think that we spend so much time on our past that we don't really reflect enough energy on the future. And I think right now is the best time forever for us to be able to move forward and really take advantage of all the opportunities that we have today. When you look at everything that's surrounded by us, let's say hypothetically from entertainment to business to fashion to anything that makes billions of dollars, we're the culture that creates the content for that. We're the culture that creates the influence for that. We're the culture that actually are being listened to around the world. So it's like we have this huge platform to really advance as a people, and we're still stuck on what kept us down instead of trying to figure out what can get us out to the next level to come up. And I just think that it's not that I felt, or I didn't mean to come off the way people took it. They just didn't stop and listen to the whole interview on Vlad. They just heard the soundbite, and everyone's reacting and commenting from the soundbite, but they hadn't heard from top to bottom what I was saying that even led to that conversation.
Akon joining us here on the Black Report. Well, let's get some clarity here on the Black Report.
100%.
Now, I know you spoke of letting go of slavery. Do you think that maybe I think people have let go of slavery, but I think it's one of those things that we want the acknowledgement that it happened. And like many mass casual events that's happened around the world, the people who have suffered from it have received some type of payment or acknowledgement. Hence why we speak about reparations so much, because people try to tie reparations to slavery.
Bro,
so it's
I'm so for reparations, and I think the reparations is necessary for the healing process. I think it's super necessary. But how long are we going to have to wait for it? How long are we going to have to ask for it? How long are we going to have to fight for it? And they keep telling us no. Okay, at what point do we say, okay, we're going to take the reparations? Or, you know what? Y'all can have that. I'm going to take my ass back to Africa and I'm going to rebuild what I always owned in the first place. Like, at what point do we stop fighting? Or do we continue to fight forever? Because it's obviously clear that they don't care about us, right? So we hold the influence today. Like, we not only hold the influence, but we also have the power, we have the resources, and we have the knowledge to actually move on way beyond slavery. So at what point do we decide to do that with that energy?
No, I feel you. You make such a great point. And on that note, stay right there, soulmates. When we return, Akon talks building his own Wakanda, cryptocurrency, and more. That's all coming up next on The Black Report.
Welcome back to the Black Report on Fox Soul, your daily source for news, views, and opinions important to the Black community. If you're just joining us, we are here with Akon. Now, let's continue, brother. You are a huge supporter of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin was pretty popular at one point, but the hype has kind of since died down. Can you tell us why you are in favor of cryptocurrency and exactly how does it work?
One of the major reasons why I was super in favor of it was for what it does for Africa. I think a currency that Africa can trust, a currency that actually you can utilize outside of Africa that holds the same value, and a currency that the people can actually govern and control is what Africa needs at the moment. And plus, it provides complete transparency because of the blockchain system that's attached to it. And ultimately, but when you look at it from a global standpoint, it also gives the power back to the people because, as you know, the world is controlled by money. But if the people are the ones that can control the value of money, then it puts the power back in our hands.
Okay. All right. Now, dreams of building Wakanda in Senegal. We see this coming together, and this is the true definition of you taking care of home. So let's talk about that.
Oh, man, that's a process that's been going on for the last 5 years. We finally just secured a $5 billion financial loan and commitment to be able to build the city out in Senegal, which is a 6.5-hour plane ride from New York, like literally same distance from New York to LA. So it's like the perfect touristic destination once it's up and running. But the whole idea for that was to start creating the model of Africa being looked at in the future, point of view. And I think the movie played a huge role, even though the process had already started before the movie came up, but it definitely helped to accelerate my position and my agenda when it came to building that city. So I really was appreciative. I think that was a God's play right there.
I heard that. Now, my next question is all about the tea, Akon. How much is it going to cost to build this city? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, so it's actually originally it's supposed to be an $8 billion project, but we were able to kind of consolidate that cost all the way down to $6 billion.
Wow!
So right now it's a $6 billion project. Yeah.
Man.
Now, Akon, what is the mission of the city? Why would people want to move there?
Well, I mean, because one thing is like everyone always had this stigma of what Africa is, you know, and I always felt like Africa was the one that was always misunderstood from a standpoint of how it was taught to African Americans and what they feel Africa contains and the reason for it and the meaning of it. It's just so many misconceptions when it comes to Africa. So I wanted to allow people to understand the side of Africa that tomorrow looks forward to and what Africa has in access of today. Because honestly, if Africa didn't have all the access of what it has today, a city like this would never be possible to even be able to be built. You know, so I wanted to show not only the new architecture of what Africa buildings need to look like, the lifestyle need to feel like, but I want to also create and provide a real comfortable home. So that way, when African Americans and others decide to come to visit Africa, they can come to Akon City and feel like they're at home, literally.
Akon City.
I love that.
Akon
Yes.
City. Akon joining us here on the Black Report. Now, Akon, do you think all African Americans should know, or at least try to discover, because a lot of us don't have any documentation of our ancestors, but discover their true DNA and also travel to Africa at least one time?
Yeah, at least one time. Because you think about it, look how many trips we all take out. I mean, we'll go to the Maldives, we'll go to Dubai, we'll go to Mexico, we'll go to France, the UK. We go everywhere, but everyone is afraid to go to Africa. And the main reason is because of all the stigma that's put on it. Is so much fear attached to Africa. I mean, especially here in America, like we've been so brainwashed. When you mention Africa, man, African Americans, you start shaking. We don't even know why. Yeah. Because it's so much in how we've been taught to believe Africa not to be there, go there, or even be a part of that history aspect of it, you know?
What are some of the misconceptions about South Africa, Akon?
Oh, man, I can't even begin to start where, but I'm telling you, you go to South Africa, man, it's really no different from America, honestly. Outside of the fact that it's mainly black people there. Like in South Africa, it's kind of strange to go there and all the black people are the rich ones and the white people are the ones that live in the projects.
Speak on that, hey. Speak on that.
It's crazy.
I've had a lot of people mention that to me who've been to
South
Africa.
Yeah, but that sounds beautiful to me. Now, you recently were listening to a letter from 100 black men. You were demanding Joe Biden pick a black woman as his running mate. He did. Why was that so important for you to be a part of that letter?
It was super important because I just wanted to spark the beat of spark in the fire, because it first takes just going there. Just going there. You know, you just never know what you're going to expect. But if anything, you can always say, at least I've been back. And at least, get to learn a little bit of something, get to understand a little bit of something, and compare the information that you've already received to what you're actually experiencing. And I think that right there allows for more creativity. But more than anything, just know that Africa is like a clean slate. We can do and build whatever we want on that land, and we own it. And they can't take it from us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we are the majority there. We're not the minority. And the rules are based around our rules and not theirs. So it's so much better and so much more freedom. So all the stuff that we're fighting for here, all the rights we're trying to grab and feel that we're owed, we aren't really owed anything because it's not ours to even be owed to. You know what I mean? We were snatched from Africa and brought here to just work and build this country up. So believe me, if we can build America up to what it is today, you can't tell me that we can't build the same thing back home.
Now that is true.
You know?
Now, do you think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ticket, you think that's going to get it? It's going to make it happen?
Well, the way I see politics, I don't think American politics is going to build Africa or recondition African Americans' mindset. I think it's going to be people, and it's going to be African Americans to take the initiative themselves to want to learn, want to know more about their culture, their history, and their well-beings. Like even with Latin America has so much ties to Africa itself. When you look at Dominican Republic and Cuba and Puerto Rico, the Portuguese, like it's so much, we have such in common. And it's the reason why, Latin America and African Americans, we gel so
well together. We understand each other's culture.
Yeah, we understand each other. Like in New York, man, we call each other niggas and don't even we actually look at it like it's normal, because we're all the same. Like we really feel like we have the same and feel like we all came from the same struggle and root, in which we have. We don't know it physically because out of education, we don't know, but from a spiritual standpoint, you just feel it. You just know it, and I think at the moment where we decide to say, look, let's get more into our, like if we're going to go back to the history and not let go of the past, let that be the root that we go back to find. It shouldn't be the stuff that broke us down. It should be the stuff that built us up. And let's figure what that is. We build our morale, our confidence, and get back to work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that can happen here in our country if we can go ahead and get Biden and Harris into the White House as well.
Yes.
Right. But I think getting Biden and Harris in the White House will definitely make it easier.
Okay.
It would definitely make it easier. The stance that the Democratic Party has taken has been one for all people. And I'm loving that idea of it because it starts with the government understanding that everyone needs to be informed.
Yeah. Now, sometimes, the Dominicans do drop that in, but they hit us with the, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. No, you black, fam. Black. I'm telling you right now, sometimes some of us just got dropped off quicker than others. Akon joining us here on the Black Report real quick, and we're going to get into a little bit more of this after the break, but can you talk about culture vultures?
Culture vultures. I mean, we live in a time of culture vultures. I mean, you gotta rock with them. You can't escape them niggas.
So you think like with the culture vultures, you don't feel like they're taking away from something that you grew up in, something you built?
I honestly applaud the culture vultures because they actually make it more popular. It gives us more credibility. Like hip hop, for instance, everyone say, well, hip hop is infested with culture vultures. I honestly disagree because I feel like hip hop was meant to actually invade every culture. Because if you notice, everybody, like hip hop started from a friendly, part, right? From DJ battles all the way down to MC battles, and then going into speaking on your culture and going on to speaking on your environment and speaking about things that matter, and then went into, bragging about money, and then now it's about everything. But the beauty of it is, it's found a way to adapt itself into everybody's culture and give them that voice that they needed wherever they're from. So I always feel like, when it comes to that, it's really a matter of all of us coming together and understanding each other. I think hip hop should be a platform that allows us to understand each other from every walks of life. It shouldn't be like, okay, why are they doing it? Hip hop started in New York. Why are people in Japan rocking hip hop? They culture vultures. I think it's really the wrong approach. It's more so, okay, cool. Now I can get better to know Japanese through hip hop because of what they're dealing with. Obviously, I don't speak Japanese, but just the videos alone can tell me that environment is no different from where I came from.
Music being that universal language, hip hop being music being universal
language. But I love it because you know what you're saying, you speak so much truth, and I feel what you're saying, and you're right, Akon. You're absolutely 1,000% right on that.
Right, because think about the Latin music, right? Latin music, like in the Dembo
it gets sampled all the time.
Right?
Yes.
But Latin music has now opened the doors even for Afrobeat to be listened to because of the similarities, right? So they made the culture just that much bigger. These guys are getting billions of views, and white people don't know the difference between reggae, Afrobeat, and reggaeton. They don't know the difference. It opens the culture to really be exposed to so many different other, music outside of that is similar.
I love the way you're doing that. Look, man, we're going to be right back with more news, views, and opinions, and my homie Akon right here on The Black Report. Don't you go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Black Report. This is a space where we inform, inspire, and educate. Now, we are joined on the Black Report with Akon.
Yes.
Now, Akon, I saw on Instagram you posted a photo walking down the beach with Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now, why did you decide to work with Tekashi 6ix9ine? I'm interested.
Well, one of the main reasons why I decided to work with him, I always felt like I could be always that neutral zone guy that everybody can funnel information through. And what I realized about the Tekashi situation is that there was a whole other side that was never really told, but it was more assumed than heard, right? And me listening to him and understanding his position on just a quiet, closed door, sit down, just me and him speaking about what really happened, the truth. I was like, if the world heard that, I think their tone would be totally different for it. But he finds himself constantly always in a position where he feel like he has to defend himself.
Yeah.
And he has to show the world that it's not what it really is. But I think my conversation with him was the way it was being done. With, you know, it could be done minus the antagonism and all the extra stuff that comes with it. But in his mind, it's all entertainment.
Right.
And I think people sometimes forget that this is really just entertainment. You can't take everything so serious. And what he's done from a personal standpoint with his homies or whatever the case may be on who told what, that's a situation they need to be dealing with. That's not a public issue where they have even an opinion. It's like, you don't know these guys. He ain't snitch on you, so why are you mad?
You think him being locked up too helped him look at life in a different lens?
Yeah, man. I think him being locked up changed everything. It changed his whole perspective, you know, as far as how he views life and how he views opportunity, and more than anything, how he views friends. And I think that's kind of helped him a lot to be able to get through this stuff and also own up to what he's done to the point where he was like, yeah, I told, but this is why I did it. Now, everybody may not approve of it, honestly, which is fair, you know, because if you in the streets for real, when you live in that life, I clearly understand. Because I know back when I was in the street living that life, I wouldn't condone that at all. But today I'm so far from the street, I can really care less around being around someone like Tekashi, because it's not like he's gonna tell on me. What am I doing wrong today? Nothing. So it don't matter. You know?
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know. I feel like he brings some of the heat on himself. That's just me. I'm gonna go ahead and ride with my decision because I see what he does on the internet, and I think that you know, there's some things that he does that the heat comes back to him is because this is what you do, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, but and you know what? You're 100% correct. But see, now his point of view, it's all entertainment. Like, one thing he does know that is super, and I think people should really understand the ethic of it, and I thought it was genius. Like, if you watch a movie, right? In every movie, there's characters in the movie. But the one person you always remember and the character you never forget is the villain. He knows how to capture the emotion, and he knows how to get in under your skin to the point where you just, oh, I can't stand this stuff. Right? So what happens is every time he posts stuff,
Okay. All right, well, we know you got to get up out here in a few minutes. So I want to ask you real quick about the social justice mixtape. Why did you feel it was so important to do that, and who's on it?
Yeah, well, I thought it was super important because, first of all, I haven't been in the music business in a minute. The last records I put out were real international records that I just wanted to do for fun. I put out my El Negrito, all Spanish album. Then I put out the Afrobeat, Wakanda, and they did super well internationally, but we didn't really promote it domestically because, honestly, we didn't know where it would go, but I wanted to just make sure my international fans were, you know, satisfied. But this one, I kept getting hits on Mankind. You need to bring it back to the street. You need to bring it back to the street. Clearly, I ain't been in the street in 10 years, so I wouldn't even know where to start. But what I did know is that there's one thing about the streets that everybody can relate to, and that's social injustice, social antagonism, social you know, unfairness that's being dealt all the time. So I said, you know what? While all this is happening, the Black Lives Movement is on heavy. Everybody's coming together trying to figure out how to solve these problems. Let me kind of open and put light on some of the things that I personally had to go through when I was in the street. And I guarantee you everybody's going to be able to relate to it like anything else. And that's what ended up happening. So this record became a record that I wanted to call Ain't No Peace. Because until we actually make a stand and start creating actions around all of our movements, protests, and speeches, it ain't never gonna be no peace.
Yeah, that's true. We had Ice Cube on not too long ago, and he feels the same way about it 100%. Okay, we're gonna say some words and say the first thing that comes to your mind. Here we go. Africa.
Freedom.
America.
Woo! Injustice.
Good word.
Okay, next word. Racism.
Sad.
Donald Trump.
Idiot.
Okay, that was a good one. Joe Biden.
Hopefully, the great white hope.
I love that. Okay, so let's do it. Black people.
Woo! That's the most. And I can only use one word.
No,
word.
you-
No,
And or
no.
phrase.
The game is one word to mind. One word.
Just one word.
Let's go, Akon. You got this.
I know what he's gonna say.
I need the right word that sums us up.
Beautiful.
Bro, this is his game.
Yeah,
Not
it's his
yours.
game.
Can ask a friend.
There's so much I want to say about that, but I'm just gonna say power.
I knew
Okay.
it. I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
All right, so the last word is hip hop.
Woo! The greatest.
There we
Oh,
go.
facts right there, man.
Look, Akon, thank you so much for joining us today on the Black Report.
Yeah,
you are
bro.
welcome
Nah, man.
anytime.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I enjoyed this conversation.
You know what, Akon? We need
such a
more
pleasure.
people like you out there in the world. You're just so
really do.
positive
Yes.
and you're forward thinking, and we just appreciate you so much.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
No, I appreciate you guys, man. Seriously.
We got unfinished business. I'm gonna see you in Atlanta though.
You are, yeah, boy. Come on, man. You playing now?
I know.
Let's go.
I
Oh
got
my
ATL.
gosh. Have a
That
safe
video,
flight,
Dad.
okay?
That's like Wakanda anyway. So Akon's gonna take some notes in ATL and make it happen. Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Appreciate it,
All
man.
right, take care.
Shouts to you,
Listen,
brother.
All right, guys.
soulmates, please tell us how you feel about the Black Report at theblack.report@foxsoul.tv and email us with your thoughts, comments, and concerns because we definitely want to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Be safe and be well.